Hello and welcome to College Clinic. My name is Brandy Ray Hicks and I am the CEO of College Clinic, which is the College Encouragement Officer. And we at College Clinic, we help students and parents transition into college and beyond through academic preparedness, financial literacy, and basic life skills. And we help students create a plan for what life and learning looks like after high school. And today you have selected the download for the tutorial of the 10 things you need to complete your FAFSA application. That is the free application for federal student aid that the U.S. Department of Education loans to a student and the parent as a unit to pay for your 2 or 4 year master or doctorate or med school program. And so this is your video tutorial, and your download will be accessible in your virtual campus. And we are thrilled today to have the conversation about how do you pay for college? What are the ways to pay for college? And what is the FAFSA? We'll go through what is the acronym and what does it mean to take out a loan, and why people take out a loan, and what do you need to do to pay it back because it's not free money, and how long does the application take? So there's so many questions that students and parents have this time of the year. Did you know that now the financial aid application comes out in October? So now is the opportunity early in a student's senior year to access the application, to find out as a family earlier in the application process in that student's senior year, to find out how much money of loan money does the student have versus how much scholarship and scholarship funds do they need to seek in order to go to school debt-free, or if there's a need to take out a loan, what is the appropriate amount? And so you joined us for the 10 things you need to complete your FAFSA. And so there's a few ways to pay for college. Like, what are the ways to pay for college as a parent and as a student you're thinking about? The first is the easiest, which is cash. That means that you are a student or a parent that has the financial resources to write a check to the college. Then there is loans. That is exactly what the student loan process is that you get money from the government or from a bank that you are loaned the money to pay strictly for your education, and then upon graduation you have to pay that money back. Then there is scholarships, which is the most popular way to pay for school because you don't have to pay the money back. Scholarships may have some type of academic or GPA requirements or community service or internship requirements in order for a student to maintain their scholarship. Then there are grants. We love grants because grants start with the letter what? G. G is the same letter as gifts. Gifts are something that you are giving financial resources in order to pay for school, but you don't have to give it back. So there's many ways to pay for school, but today we're going to talk about the loans that you get from the Department of Education. And so we're going to go through in your download, make sure that you download your tutorial of the 10 things you need to complete your FAFSA application. As you can see, I'm going to enlarge this resource. This is a great resource and a tool that you may want to print out as you are getting ready to sit down to complete the FAFSA, to understand what are the things that I actually really need at my fingertips. What's going to make this process smooth and simple as I complete it. Now, The financial aid application process has changed over the years. Back in the day where the FAFSA form, your parents had to sit down and transcribe information from their tax form to the financial aid application. Well, now the Department of Education, which disperses the federal loan money for a student to go to school, and the IRS, where you file your taxes, both of those systems talk to each other now. So it is a very easy process now that takes a first-time user almost 20, no more than 30 minutes to complete, which a process that used to take hours to complete. Previously, the FAFSA application would become available in the wintertime, January, February, March. So a family would apply, and then a student would know how much money that they needed in order to apply to their tuition. Well, times have changed in the last couple of years where the application for financial aid opens up in October. Why? Because families can now find out how much money that a student will have to go to school to their tuition if they're choosing loan as their option of paying for college. And so a lot of these resources and explanation of a step-by-step is explained on the financial aid website. But the 10 things that you need are very easy and readily accessible to you. And we're going to talk about how this process is now not as intimidating as it used to be. The first thing is that you want to log on to the FAFSA website. The FAFSA website is fafsa.edu.gov. And it's very easy to create a profile. A great way for students and parents to kind of understand this new login process, if you are an adult student that's returning, or you're a parent that went to school back in the day and now this is your first time, or seniors, this is your first time, is that now with the login is that a student and a parent can create their own login experience. They can create their own login so the parents and the students do not have to see each other's personal information. So remember back in the day, like I was saying, that you used to have your parents' information, or it's very covenant to get your parents' information. Now within the financial aid process is that there's 2 different logins. If you can see my screen, as you can see, that you can log on as a student, or you can log on as a parent or preparer or a student that is associated with the freely associated state that will actually fill out this process. But normally it's just the parents or preparer that's filling out this information if you're on the parent side. If you're on the student side, this is the student. Why? Because the student is just going to fill out information as far as their contact information, syncing their future college or university that they want to see the financial aid information go to, is general information. If they're an adult student, their tax information. But if they're the parent, if the student is 17, 18 years old, or up to the age of 24 that still gets claimed on their parents' taxes, then you will complete your own information. And what happens is that the parent's financial information will come up on the parent side, but the student will not be able to see it. So the IRS, again, talks to the Department of Education, where the 2 sites talk to each other. And so if you need additional help on the FAFSA website, when you click into the FAFSA form, that box will pop up. And when the box pops up, there is a box here that says, if parents need any type of help, you can actually click this and it'll take you to a step-by-step parent portal process that will talk to you about what is the first steps that you need to do as a parent in order to start the financial aid process. The financial aid process is really important for the parent to complete, because if a student is under the age of 24 or below, the Department of Education and the IRS looks to see, is this student an independent student, or are they still getting claimed on their parents' taxes, or their parent has the ability to contribute to that student's education. And so when a financial aid application is completed, the student will receive an SAR report. What that means is that a student aid report means that an aid report will be sent to the family electronically, so the student will know how much money that they have as far as loan money. But the first step that you need to do is to log on to your financial aid website to create a username for the student as well as the parent. Parents, don't worry, the student will not see your personal information. Number two, your parent's last year's tax return. Now again, remember, back in the day, you used to have your paper copy of your most recent tax that you filed, which was your 1040, and you used to have to transcribe by number onto the financial aid application. Well, now what has happened is that, again, the Department of Education, that actually gives out the loan money, and the IRS, where you file your taxes, the two systems talk to each other. And so your information should already be preloaded on the parent side. The reason why you want to have your tax information readily available is because you want to double check to make sure that your numbers transcribe. So for every number that is on your tax return, your Form 1040 will transcribe in the FAFSA database of the information of understanding what income information is the IRS and the Department of Education looking at to determine how much aid does the student receive. And so you'll want to make sure that you'll have that information readily available. If you see any errors, then when you contact financial aid, that you'll have your information available. You also need to make it available because as you're filling out possibly different scholarships or different grant applications, they may ask for proof of income. And so you want to have that readily available and accessible during this financial aid process. Number three, contact information. Now, they want to make sure that your contact information that matches on your tax returns as well as your student's transcript is the same on your contact information that you are reporting to the IRS. Why? Because this establishes your residency as well as making sure that the right student and the right parent are linked up. But you want to make sure that your contact information is correct. Number four, Social Security number for both the student as well as the parent. Now, students, this is going to be your first of many times of making sure that you memorize your Social Security number, because from now on, you will be known by your Social Security number. So you want to make sure that you memorize it. Parents, you'll also need to make sure that you have your Social Security number when you're logging in to the FAFSA application. Students, you'll want to make sure not only that you memorize the last 4 digits, but your entire 9-digit Social Security number, because that's how they're going to identify you. So number 4, Social Security number for both the parent as well as the student. Number 5, driver's license. If you have a driver's license, students and parents, this is just another way to make sure that they're checking your residency. And they want to make sure that they're connecting the right person to the loan application. You always have to remember that this is a loan application. A loan meaning that you are applying for federal funds. So in order to apply for federal funds, this is a part of the application process. Now, once again, just to remind you that the FAFSA opens October 1st of every year. So if you're in your current year and you're getting ready to, this is 2018 in October, and so you will use 2017 tax information that will be, the IRS will pull over in order to determine how much student aid will be awarded to your family. Now, you want to make sure that before you jump into the online FAFSA form, that you download this worksheet to make sure that you have all of these information readily accessible. It's very easy. And again, the IRS and the Department of Education have made this process seamless now, as well as they have moved up the date from, it used to be in the January, February, or March timeframe, now to October. Why? If you are a senior and you are applying for the application process, to know how much aid you have in October, November, December. So as you're filling out the applications, you may decide to go early decision or early action. You can find out what college you're going to before December the 31st. And as a family and as a student, that gives you 8-9 months to financially plan as well as socially plan how you're going to transition into college. But if you decide to wait to the beginning of the year to file your taxes, they will use your most recent tax information, either the current year that you're in, or you'll wait to the beginning of the year and they'll use that information. But they will take a variation between 2017 and 2018 to look at how much federal aid do they think that they can give or loan your student to make sure that they'll be able to pay it back, as well as they'll make sure that you are being awarded the maximum amount that the government can give you. And so what you'll need to do, again, is the students need to create their own separate login, as well as the parents. And we'll talk a little bit in number 6 through 10 how the parent portal as well as the student portal plays into factor. So let's jump back in to our 10 things. So let's go back over. Our first one is to create an online profile at FAFSA.edu, FAFSA.ed.gov. The second one is to make sure that you have your tax returns as parents readily available for the application process. Number 3, checking to make sure that your contact information is up to date. Number 4, Social Security number, making sure as a student and parent, you have your Social Security number as well as your driver's license. Parents, if you have your driver's license, or student, if you have your driver's license, make sure that you have your number readily accessible. If you do not have a driver's license, no fear, you can still process your application. And so fall of the student's senior year is the perfect time to start having these conversations. Now, there's 3 ways to start having this conversation about money. So first, the students can take the initiative to start talking to your parents about how much is it going to cost for you to go to your college. Now, you need to start taking into consideration the cost of college. What is going to be the cost of your particular college? Students will need to start, as well as parents, will start to take a hard look at the colleges to find out how much money a college is going to give, or how much money is the tuition. So if you're only receiving possibly $11,000 from the government and you're looking at a school that has a $25,000 a year tuition, how are you going to make up the difference? Are you paying through it through cash? Do you have scholarships secured already? So students, you really need to start looking at the costs of college and being realistic about the amount of money that you possibly could be getting from loans, as well as the amount of money that you already have committed in scholarships, or how much money you need to raise in scholarships, or if you are pulling it out of your savings account, how much money do you have left? Parents, you need to start responding to the counselors. Senior year, the counselors are really sending out a lot of correspondences, a lot of emails, a lot of invitations to the parent night, to the financial aid night. And so now is a perfect time to start making extended conversations with the counselor. What are the realistic academic goals that your student has for college? Are they qualified or even eligible to apply to the colleges that they have in their mind in regards to it being a great fit academically, socially, as well as financially? And counselors are going to have these continued opportunities for students as well as parents to engage. Now, there may be one counselor for the entire grade. It is the earnest and the hope that students are taking the initiative to go meet with their counselor and stay abreast of all of the scholarship opportunities and all of the financial resources that are available. The one-stop shop to all of the scholarships that your school has access to is the counselor's office. That is the first stop shop of where you need to start looking for your scholarship opportunities, as well as the things that they have online or the different community resources that parents and students can start engaging with. So let's jump back in to our 10 things you need to complete your FAFSA application. Number 6, proof of residency. Now, FAFSA asks for the student and the parents to state whether they're in-state or out-of-state status of where the student is going to go to college. So if you are applying for a school that is in-state, then you know that your tuition is going to be considerably less than if you were out of state, and the tuition could be 2 or 3 times more. Now, some parents think that, oh, well, in my junior year, my student wants to go to school in another state and will just move and relocate and establish residency before you uproot your family and move to a particular state. Families need to consider what that state or what that college requires as residency. In some states, there is reciprocity, meaning that the neighboring states can count as in-state tuition if they're looking to recruit students from the next state over. There may be an opportunity that you as a family move to the state that your kids want to go to college in the 7th and 8th grade and establish that residency during their senior year. Some states require 2, 3, or 4 years worth of residency to be considered in-state. So these are some things that as family you need to consider if your family or your student is going to go to a particular college, then what does it look like for in-state versus out-of-state tuition? There's a big financial commitment and a difference between the two. 7, benefits received from federal programs. This is very important for not only the FAFSA application, but also if you are seeking possible grants or scholarships that are based on income. If you receive free and or reduced lunch, TANF, SSI, food stamps, whatever your family is receiving as a federal benefit, as well as your tax return, these documents are very important because it proves your income need. And so again, because the Department of Education as well as the IRS talk to each other, you want to make sure that just like your tax information, even though it's preloaded to the financial aid website, you want to make sure that you have it readily available, your proof of benefits, because there may become an opportunity where you have to prove that information. Number 8, federal school code. This federal school code is number 8 because this is a number that your students frequently see in the ACT, SAT registration process. So let's back up for a second. When your student applies or starts their registration for the ACT or the SAT, they have an option to put up to 4 schools that student wants to apply for. They have up to 4 schools that they want to apply to, that they want to their scores to be sent to. Those schools have something called a federal code. Those federal codes are a 6-digit that's linked to that college or that university. And so that is the same code that the family needs to put down, or the student needs to put down in the financial application online of FAFSA. So if your student did not put their future colleges or universities into their SAT or ACT registration, have no fear. All you have to do is Google the federal school code. So I'm going to show you. All you have to do is, it's a simple Google search. And this will allow, once your financial aid application and your student aid report comes in and you know how much money that you're working with in loan money, all you have to do is put in the federal school code and you update it as you are applying to schools. So you'll just put in the school's name. I put in my alma mater, federal school code, and the 6-digit code will pop up for any university that you decide to apply to. That federal school code will come up in the search engine. So number 8 is federal school code. Number 9 is email. This is really important to make sure that emails are up to date and is something that you and your family check on a regular basis. For your senior year, there's a lot of emails that's going to come into your student's email, and it may get lost in spam, or the information may just may not get checked, because if your student is not frequently checking their email address, that your student aid report of how much federal money that you're getting may get lost. So you may want to consider creating a family email account that more than one person has access to. That way your information about FAFSA does not get lost. So making sure, number 9, that you have an email address that the families check on. And number 10, prepares information. The free application for federal student aid is a federal application, just like your tax returns. Some people do their tax returns on their own. Some people pay someone in order to complete it. So if you pay someone in order to complete it, they have a license, a code, in order to put their information on the tax return to let the IRS know that a tax preparer or CPA has completed their information. Therefore, if there's anything that is wrong or they have questions, then they know that there's multiple people that need to be contacted. Same thing goes for FAFSA. If you are paying a person to complete the FAFSA application, then the preparer's information needs to be included in this online application process. Now, to avoid paying a cost to have someone complete the FAFSA, again, parents and students, there's several free resources with your counselor or after school or in community programs, the libraries are always giving free resources, but there are tons of free resources in order to complete the FAFSA process and the application. And again, if you have any questions, the financial aid website, there is a contact number, there is a chat, there is email. They do not want you to fail at this process. They will help you and answer any questions that you have about the financial aid process. And so what you want to do is to go take action today. Go take action, and it takes about 20 minutes for you to complete the application for federal student aid by logging on to your login page. I'm going to flip back over to the login page so you can take a look at it. It's very simple if you are the student or if you're the parent. It takes about 20 minutes. What we also love for you to do here at College Clinic is that if you're interested in taking more of our workshops to stay more in the conversation about what we're doing on our College Clinic campus, we have lots and lots of resources for you and your family to enjoy, whether it's an e-course, whether it is in the community. We encourage you to visit our website at collegeclinic.org and to visit our campus online. A lot of our e-courses are coming up that you can join us online by touch screen, by your smartphone, or on a live session that we have. We have 24-hour access of Q&A. You can hit us up on Google Chat through our College Clinic website. There's so many interesting things that are happening on our campus. Our app is launching, and here is our curriculum that if you want to take a look at what's going on, there's lots of cool things that are going on our website for our classroom and our community. Once again, my name is Brandy Ray Hicks. I am the CEO, College Encouragement Officer at College Clinic, and we help students and families transition into college and beyond through financial literacy, academic preparedness, and basic life skills. So go to our website, register for our classes, as well as you can follow us on social media at collegeclinic.org. Thanks again for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you on our College Clinic campus. Have an awesome day.